Welcome, everybody, back to another fantastic episode of Three Man Rush Podcast. I'm your host, Landon Oliver, here with both of my co-hosts, Andrew Scott, Big Jared Holly down here. We are here to finish up our Week 6 picks and predictions. We have 4 games left. If you're joining us for the other 10 games, we want to thank you so much. Please hit the like button, subscribe button, bell notification if you are so inclined to support the channel. We really greatly appreciate it. And if you are listening to this in audio format on podcast, go ahead, leave us a review. Go ahead and just give us any kind of rating if you would. Let us know some things we do good. Let us know things we don't do good. Regardless, thank you guys for the support. And so we've made it here towards the end. If you are listening as well, if you're listening to us on Friday, make sure to catch us tonight. Live DFS show tonight. 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. We will be live on YouTube, live on Twitter, at Three Man Rush Podcast is the Twitter account. Join us, please. It's going to be an awesome episode. You guys won't want to miss it, especially because these next few games are awesome. We're really excited to talk about these. And let's just go get right into it, boys. Y'all doing good tonight?
Doing great.
Doing real good, man. Excited that we're at this stretch of games because this is really where the meat of the week is with these 4 matchups. Well, two really good matchups that we'll be talking about here shortly. So,
and then we have the Denver Broncos in primetime again. So way to cap it off. NFL really knows what they're doing. I don't know. Like, can we flex some of these games? Like come on here.
That week.
It should be a no-brainer to flex Buffalo and Kansas City into Monday Night Football and move Broncos to Chargers to that 3:00 slate on Sunday afternoon. That's a no-brainer. I don't know if they're even allowed to do that, but that's a no-brainer.
How do you? Not even just like for money. Like, how do you not have Bills and Chiefs as a prime?
What the fuck are we doing, NFL?
That's
like.
Especially
it might have something to do with TV,
right? Especially after the playoff game last year.
Right. The way that game ended, you're really not you know that game's going to be on the schedule this year and you're not going to put that in a primetime slot. Like even if the Broncos would have lived up to expectations, I still wouldn't have been more excited about Broncos and Chargers. Like the Chiefs and Bills this is the regular season. Like this is going to be the most hyped regular season game this year, and like we don't know what storylines are going to develop as the year goes on, but like at the end of last season, if you're like, all right, what's the one game everybody's going to be the most hype about next year? The Bills and Chiefs rematch.
Yeah,
easy, and it's in the 3:00 window. Like I'm sure it's America's game of the week or whatever, but. I don't know.
That's Sunday Night Football, and that's not even taken away, man. Like Sunday Night Football is a fucking good.
It's a great matchup this week.
Great game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's knock out this first game. Arizona Cardinals, Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray against the best quarterback in football, Geno Smith. What is up, boys? Have you seen the light yet? Are you hopping on the train with me? Are we coming aboard?
Yeah, I owe Gino an apology.
I'll take it on his behalf.
Yeah, right. Not that I thought that he was bad or hadn't been good up to this point. But I was not ready to buy into the top 10 quarterback thing last week whenever you put it out there on the table. And I said, you know what? If he comes out and he plays well against the Saints, I'll put some respect on his name because I mean you got to play whoever's in front of you. You know the quarterbacks don't make the schedules, but Geno did have he didn't play bad the first couple weeks of the year, but then he absolutely smashed the next 2 weeks against pretty soft defenses. So hey, we know what the Saints defense is. If he comes out, if he plays ball, I'll put some respect on his name. And I mean he didn't just play ball; he made some plays that whenever I saw that whenever he rolled out, and it wasn't even watching because I happened to be watching the game whenever that happened. But then whenever I saw the replay later from the end zone, I was just like, oh wow! And then that dime that he dropped for a touchdown later in the game, like Like he's not that wasn't a
See,
subpar defense that
but
he
see,
was like.
that's why
And
I was ready.
I
Like
know he was making the throws already,
that's
but
what I'm saying, man.
I needed to see it against a formidable defense. I needed to see because
It don't
we've
matter
seen
what the defense is with those throws. Like
it
that.
doesn't. It doesn't. You're right, but I needed to see it. But like Gino, what I realized watching that game, and the reason that I want to apologize to Gino and give him so much credit is he has taken the time that he was having to be a backup and things like that and almost just like recreated himself. Like this is not even close to the same Gino that we saw that didn't succeed the first go around. Like
Situations matter.
this dude has been studying, preparing himself, getting
Well,
better.
you could
But
see glimpses of it last year. In like whenever he played last year, he
in
played
yeah,
really good football
but
last year.
like even compared to like obviously because he's playing so well compared to last year wasn't as good. But like even last year, I was still more along the lines of like, okay, those were some good plays, but this is still the same old Gino. Um, he's I know it's only 5 weeks, so I'm trying not to get too excited, but that I paid close attention to that Seahawks Saints game for this reason because I was kind of like on the fence with Gino this past week, and I was like, I did this is the Saints are a good defense. This is a game that's going to help me make up my mind. And so every time that I saw that whenever I was watching Sunday Ticket, every time I saw the ticker go from the Saints have the ball to the Seahawks have the ball, I would flip that game on and go watch Gino, and I was really impressed. And we wrote him off, but he ain't right back. And like he said, like the
Is
man
this the
himself
meme? Yeah, is
said,
this the meme that it's like, I'm sorry, I was not familiar with your game?
yeah,
Is that meme?
yeah.
I'm sorry, I was not familiar with your game. Uh,
Gino deserves so much credit, man. And
yeah,
like
man.
he's
That's
such an easy guy to root for that I was. It wasn't that I wanted to count Gino out. Like I was so happy to see it happen against the Saints because he's such an easy guy to root for. So like for him to
yeah.
also be playing well on top of that, it's great. So I mean I was elated to see how well he played against New Orleans.
He's got multiple games this year of 2 or more touchdowns and 300 yards. Like on a team that everybody
Man. Yeah.
expected him to be bad, but not only bad, a run heavy offense.
Offensive lines matter.
Yeah.
Having DK
Coaching,
Metcalf, coaching does
Tyler
matter.
Lockett.
And
Tyler
then
Lockett's
having DK Metcalf and Tyler
bro,
Lockett.
that throw he made to Tyler Lockett.
And Tyler Lockett continues to be one of the most underrated wide receivers in the NFL. And I don't with how
He's
many
the
years of
Brandon Cook
production
at the
he's
NFC.
yeah, pretty much. That is a very, very good comparison. He like with how many years of production he's put up. I guess it's because like for
I'll say this
fantasy,
too, man.
he's like boom or bust for fantasy, so fantasy players don't like him, and maybe that's what has to do with it. But just as an NFL receiver, with his footwork and everything, and everything he does, he's so underrated. And
It's great.
The crazy thing is, you mentioned fantasy. I'll throw one back at you too. The running joke in DFS was, okay, if you play Tyler Lockett this week, Metcalf goes off when Russ was quarterback, and if you play Metcalf, it's Tyler Lockett's week. With Gino at quarterback, it's the most even it's ever been. Like it really is. You can literally double stack Gino.
What did I tell you whenever we were doing our fantasy drafts? Right. I told you DK Metcalf one was.
I didn't. Yeah, I had no faith, and you're right on it, man. Like absolutely right on that. Like I had no faith in those receivers with Gino at quarterback.
Well, it's because that's what the film showed last year. This is why, like, I don't like box score watching. Like, which I mean, like we all. I'm not perfect. I do it all the time, but whenever I go to the film, I'm not looking at whether the guy threw 300 yards. I'm not looking at whether the guy threw 2 touchdowns. Like, yeah, that stuff's great. Like, I'm looking at the process. I'm looking at how he got there. I don't care what you got. I'm looking at how you got there. Ball placement, velocity, decision making. Are you going through your proper progressions? Are you getting into the proper reads, the proper checks? That stuff I'm watching, and that's why going back now for like 3 weeks. Well, really, like since week 2, I was singing the praises of like, hey, man, like something's different. Like this guy looks different.
I see what you're saying.
And that's why I was so excited about, like, hey, the Lions Seahawks matchup. I was making a joke about, like, oh, I'm so excited to watch this game because of the way these two quarterbacks are playing. But most
I was on
notably,
board with you on that one.
yeah, oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's exciting offensive game, but I was really excited to watch Geno Smith because some of the throws he was making, even going back to last year a little bit, but not to this extent, like Drew said, not to this extent. Shout out! I want to give a big shout out to a guy that's outside of really NFL circles is getting no credit, and a guy that got shit on really hard last year by a lot of Seattle fans, actually. And that's the offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron. People were ready to first-year offensive coordinator last year was his, still installing his stuff with Russell Wilson, as we've seen how Russell Wilson's looking in Denver now. And now we see how Geno Smith and that offense is playing. John Schneider getting the 2 bookend tackles, Abraham Lucas, phenomenal draft pick. Really liked him coming out of college. Obviously, Charles Cross, me and Drew both.
That was a home run.
Yeah, we knew that was a good pick as well. Tariq Woolen, home run pick as well. John Schneider knocked it out of the park, but what Shane Waldron is really doing with this offense, the way he's getting Geno Smith, on the move, on the the rollouts,
moving the pocket,
movement in the pocket, resetting the pocket, even, and he's putting this offense, he's putting his quarterback into a position to succeed. He's putting his wide receivers in a position to win. Whenever they already are just freaks, DK Metcalf, that's just a freak, but you're using him in the proper way you use a freak. And not only that, but the way they've got the offensive line block, like the offensive line coach has done a phenomenal job there. All the unbalanced lines these guys are using, the way they're pulling in the running game, the communication is on point, man. Like it's beautiful football to watch from not only just a quarterbacking standpoint, but from an execution standpoint as a whole. Everybody in that offense is where they're supposed to be. They're doing their jobs properly. And that's what you get. You get football that looks like that. And that's good football to watch. That's in a year that we have some of the worst quarterback play, some of the worst offensive line play. To put on tape of a team like Seattle, man, it's refreshing. And it makes you feel good to watch that. So, shout out Shane Waldron. Good chance that guy's a head coaching candidate, especially for me. That's a guy that I'm looking to hire as a head coaching
Arizona
candidate.
Cardinals might need to consider giving him a hire. Speaking of the team,
I was going to say, on the other side of the ball now. Let's get on to the Arizona Cardinals, which is the
Cliff ain't going anywhere, most likely, considering him and the GM
I know we
both
touched
just
on
inked
this
an
before.
extension.
Yeah, dude, I know we touched on that before. Like, what has this guy done to earn an extension of that magnitude? Like what?
Start off hot, squeak in the playoffs, and get sent home. That's what that doesn't deserve an extension, but that's what he's done. That's his NFL
making the
resume.
playoffs and stuff, but it's about how the main thing, there's 2 things. So it's how you start and it's how you finish. It's like seasons.
Cliff has a history of finishing poorly, going all the way back to college.
Man. Whenever he was at A&M, man,
Texas Tech
or Texas Tech, it's the same shit, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was the first time I saw that last year, I was blown away because I knew it was a thing in the NFL, but the fact that the trend even followed him to fucking college.
This is a guy that was losing games when Patrick Mahomes was throwing 6-7 touchdowns in a game. Right. They were throwing 6 or 7 touchdowns in a college game, and they're still losing ball games.
Literally, his call to being a head coach was, "I got to coach Patrick Mahomes." Is basic. I feel like that's basically what ended up making him a front runner for the NFL head coaching job.
I don't understand. And the guy's got good ideas theoretically. I get what he tries to do. He does have good ideas. But from the execution of them is just so ass backwards. That team does not execute at a high level at all. And their inability to not put their players like Kyler Murray, one of the most dynamic threats we have in all of football at the quarterback position. And they don't, dude. Well, it's not even not running him. They don't even really get him out on the move at all. It's the exact opposite of what Seattle's doing. I don't know.
DeAndre
didn't
Hopkins
understand.
comes back after this week.
He
Like
does.
it almost feels like they're just like, man, please D-Hop come back and save our offense. Because I mean, nobody's coming back to fix the defense.
And
Like
what sucks is the defense
is going to
actually
suck.
played. The defense actually played well last week. Like they weren't awful. The offense was just really bad last week. Like
Who did Arizona play last week? I'm blanking on their game.
the Cardinals.
Who did
Who
Arizona
did they play?
last week?
That's how bad it's been.
I
They
didn't.
played the Eagles
That's right, and they
20
almost
to
won the game.
17.
They
Yeah,
almost won the game. That's
Yeah,
right.
Last second field goal. They missed. If they would have hit that, they would have won.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the defense, like they were really well prepared. There was a play in particular. There was I remember watching. There's a screen pass, and Jalen Hurts goes to the line. He checks into the screen basically. All of a sudden, you see the Arizona guys. JJ Watt's letting everybody know, like, hey, we've studied this. This is a screen pass. They knew what was coming. They read the Philly offense really well in that game. And that's, props to them for doing their tape, studying the game, during the week. But they still gained, like 8 yards on the play, basically because they tried to get like, who's the linebacker there? Out of Clemson, the kid they just drafted. I can't.
Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, they tried to get Simmons to push over, and he just didn't understand the call, and so they still ended up gaining like 8 yards on the screen pass. But everybody, like they knew what was coming, and that's why they held that offense. Like it was the worst game Jalen Hurts has played this year, and rightfully so. They were really well prepared for that. The offense was just anemic, man. Like the offensive line is bad too. Like
I think Hopkins
we say that
difference though. When they get Hopkins, you got to think too. James Conner's been banged up all season.
Benjamin's starting this week. I'm pretty sure.
He should, even if Connor's active. I think looks more explosive right now than James Conner.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Was like James Conner being banged up doesn't really move the needle that much for me anyway.
That defense is so bad though. That's their biggest issue. Like the offense is struggling a little bit, but
the offense puts them in bad situations. It's a whole team failure, man. Like whenever your defense is out on the field that much.
But what they did so well last year early.
They try to run this hurry up bullshit. They try to do this, like, hey, let's hurry up. Yeah, that's all cool whenever you're converting on first. Like you don't ever want, whenever you're running that type of offense, you don't ever want to see a third down. Like you're trying to first down, second down, first down, first. You're trying to pop out chain moving drives. These guys are like trying to run this tempo offense, and they're getting 3 and outs. So I mean, what are you doing? Your offense is holding the ball for 45 seconds of game clock. You're putting
the big difference in this team. Like the previous year, they started off so hot because their defense was causing turnovers that were resulting in points, and they're not doing that this year. Like it's nowhere close to. Results are completely different what they were last season, and then you add into the fact that Hopkins missed all this time. You have your top running backs banged up. Your offensive line's not good. Your quarterback is not scrambling like he really should. And when he does, it looks like a different offense.
Yeah,
like they look more like
whenever you get him out on the move, get him out where he's comfortable, like.
That play against the Raiders when he was back there running around for how long?
Simulate a pocket for the guy.
Yeah.
Don't have him just drop straight back because your guys are going to get fucking smoked one-on-one. Like your offensive line's not going to hold up. Like, move the pocket. Let him reset. Let him do what he does best.
But, I mean, say this out loud. Think of this offense, this passing attack that Kyler Murray is about to have. He's going to have DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to have Zach Ertz. He's going to have Marquise Brown. He's going to have Rondale Moore. Look, I mean, that's 4 legit guys that can catch the ball and make plays.
Yeah, I have a problem putting Rondale Moore in the legit category.
He looked good last week.
He's a good playmaker.
He's been hurt too.
We can't keep saying he's a good playmaker every week whenever he's not making plays. And it's not necessarily his fault, but I'm just saying we can't just
Well,
keep
I mean,
saying,
it's
oh, he's a
his
good
fault. It's
playmaker or
coach's fault.
whatever.
I mean, it's all
He's
it's
just
on the player too. Whenever he gets the opportunities, he's got to make the best of them, and he's not doing that. But
Marquise
Yeah,
Brown
right.
played really well this year too.
Hollywood's been awesome.
it's all cool. Like, yeah, they've got wide receivers. They got it's all super cool. You gonna give him time to throw to these guys? Are you gonna give him a chance to throw to these guys? Because that's the main problem right now.
Yeah, but it could be worse. They could be the Rams right now, who are in the same scenario where they don't have a deep threat. They have no one to stretch the field, and they still can't throw the ball because their offensive line's so bad.
Well, it doesn't matter if they had a deep
threat.
It doesn't matter if they had a deep threat.
Marquise Brown has made it a point. Like they're
Marquise Brown has been really great at yak. Whenever they get him that opportunity.
Right, which is how you supplement poor offensive line play, and the Rams can't do that right now. Like they have Cooper Kupp, it's good after the catch, but outside of that, the Rams don't have anybody that can create.
Yeah, but even if the Rams had a deep threat, what are you going to do?
Well, no, but that's I think that's the point, Jared. I think that's the point Jared's making is you can give Hollywood the ball in space, and he can create on his own. You can theoretically
I just don't trust Kingsbury to use it correctly.
Well, at that point, I agree.
That's a good argument. Yeah,
it's a bad football team.
That point, I agree with. But I do think Hopkins does take this offense to another level whenever he comes back, just because he's earned that respect. Like he might be 30 years old, whatever. The dude is still.
Sucks, man.
He's still one of the best.
It's like having a Ferrari and parking it in a trailer park, man.
Yeah, it does feel that way. It does, but I'm glad we're 1 week away from getting to see Hopkins back on the field. He's one of my favorite receivers to watch.
No, last year he didn't look particularly great last year.
No, he didn't. The decline definitely started to happen.
You started to see
Hopkins on the field is better than Hopkins not on the field. So I'm happy that he's almost
Hopkins
back.
on the field is going to make opportunities for Marquise Brown too.
Yeah. I don't think his return hurts Hollywood because they play very different roles for the offense. So I think those two can coexist together and actually be. I think they could work really well together, assuming that we are again putting our faith in Cliff Kingsbury to use them correctly, but theoretically you would think they would complement each other really well.
All right. Well, I am curious here. Well, I was curious. So Seahawks are at home, but they have Cardinals minus 2.5 favorites in the game, minus 149 favorites to win the game. Seahawks plus 115 underdogs. So relatively even line there with a 51.5 point over under. That's a massive game.
So what happens whenever you get two good offense and two bad defenses?
Yeah, and I'm taking the Seahawks. Taking Seattle.
I am too.
I'll take the Cardinals.
Probably the smart pick, but
nah, I don't think it is. I want to see Kyler Murray try to force one of these floating kind of passes. He kind of gets away from falling off his back foot. I want to see him try to force one of those against Tariq Woolen.
I want to see Kyler Murray run. That's what I want to see.
But everybody else, you better get in line.
Right.
So now let's get into our matchup of the week. So fucking excited for this game, man. Gosh. Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs at Kansas City. Great environment there, man.
That stadium is about to be off the fucking rails.
Not even just in the NFL. That's one of the best stadiums in all sports.
Yeah.
Fantastic atmosphere. It's as close. That is so funny. Both these two teams, that and Buffalo, are probably the closest you get to a college atmosphere in the NFL.
And Buffalo fans will travel. Like Kansas City fans are going to make it tough, but there's going to be plenty of Buffalo fans in this game.
Yes,
they travel.
Just because I want to get this out of the way early, I do. Kind of funny to see here. Bills are 2.5 point favorites in this game. Money line is on Bills minus 149. Chiefs are plus 115 underdogs. So once again, almost just about as even as you can get on the money line. 53.5 point over under. Massive game. And I'm telling you, this Buffalo defense, dude, they're fucking good. Von Miller, like if Orlando Brown plays like he did last week, Von Miller will take his lunch money. That like he was not good last week.
Even if Orlando Brown plays good, Von Miller's still going to take your lunch money. Like
Yeah,
he's just another level of special.
That's the biggest worry to me. That's the biggest mismatch to me, especially if they get a guy like Ed Oliver back this week, because the Bills are kind of getting a little bit healthier now. If they, get some of their defensive line pieces back there in the interior.
They've still got some injuries in the secondary, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Micah Hyde being out, like, that's a huge loss. Jordan Poyer, I know he didn't play this last week. It didn't really matter.
No.
But they're not playing Kenny Pickett and the Steelers, though, either. A little bit of a different. Let me pull up their
I didn't see their practice report today, so I really don't know where they're at in terms of their secondary. But I'll tell you, I was really impressed with Kansas City this past week. It was just, I don't know, man. I was one of those people this offseason that I was concerned with the Chiefs not having Tyreek. And I didn't really know what to make of Tyreek without Mahomes either. Like, I was concerned for both sides, and both sides have shown that they're more than capable of, continuing to do what they do without each other. So
yeah.
So here we go.
So both of them deserve. I mean, they deserve the star power for sure.
The only guys that did not practice this week. Now there were a lot of guys limited, but they were still out there practicing, which is better than what it has been.
Yeah.
Only guys that were full DNPs this week were Tywan Jones, like third, fourth string running back there. Jace Kumaro with an ankle injury. Roger Saffold was vet rest. So he's just fine, just a rest day for him. Von Miller was limited with vet rest. But yeah, guys like Mitch Morse was limited. Like, that's better than what he's been the last couple of weeks. He's been completely
out. Sounds like
Ed Oliver's full.
Good to go.
Yeah, Ed Oliver was a full participant this week. Jordan Phillips was limited. Jordan Poyer was limited. So these guys that missed last week didn't practice at all. They're kind of coming back in some capacity. I don't know for sure.
You've got two explosive offenses, but then
Isaiah McKenzie was a full, and he showed out this last week. Guy that I've been praying got on the field. Loved Isaiah McKenzie.
If the Bills' defense is healthy, they've got a clear advantage in this game because Kansas City secondary has been spotty.
Well, I believe too they get their first round. Kansas City gets their first round pick. McDuffie.
Oh, is McDuffie going to play this week?
I don't know if he'll play, but they activated him off IR today.
Okay, so even if he
rookie again, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis,
rookie going off IR, having to, and then not to mention you've got Josh Allen firing the ball around. Yeah,
Josh.
So I think Buffalo has a pretty clear advantage from that standpoint, but you can't count Kansas City out at home. And whenever Vegas tries to count Kansas City out, they perform really well as underdogs.
Yeah, but see, I don't think they're counting them out, man. Like
they're underdogs at home.
I mean, but that's even money. That's even.
It might be, but it is considered an underdog. And whenever you look at past history with Kansas City as an underdog, they historically perform pretty well. But again, this Buffalo Bills team isn't your average opponent.
Yeah, I was going to say the Bills are a better overall team. And right now, like, as weird as it is to say, dude, they've got the best quarterback in football right now.
Yeah.
I mean, as great as Mahomes has been, and, like, I think he's, like, 1B. Like, there's nobody in football right now I'm taking over Josh Allen. Just, like, there's nobody that can do what he does.
There's no player combined with the situation and coaching and person, like, we talk about
even the player in general. Like, he's one of one. He's literally the definition of a unicorn at quarterback.
You could say the same thing for Mahomes.
I think.
I don't agree with that. Mahomes, I think there's players that can do what Mahomes does.
No.
Well, Aaron Rodgers has been doing what Mahomes does for years.
No,
it's different.
Yes. Yeah. What?
no,
What?
not in terms
It's
of getting out of the
different.
pocket. No. But when has Aaron Rodgers gotten out of the pocket, spun off of somebody, flicked it into the end zone? No. In the pocket maybe, and like and getting like, but no, he has not. He is not as good as Mahomes. Like whatever you're talking about. No, nuh-uh.
Oh my God.
No. Aaron Rodgers is better. Is a better throw over the foot, like pure throw over foot of the football than Patrick Mahomes. But there are things that Patrick Mahomes does that Aaron Rodgers has not. Absolutely.
Y'all must be thinking of like 38-year-old Aaron Rodgers and not like 2011 like prime Aaron Rodgers. I
don't think he was doing what Mahomes was doing. I think at the time that you're talking about, though, Aaron Rodgers,
literally from 2011 to 2015,
he was the only unicorn.
There's a 4-year period of football from Aaron Rodgers that even to this day, I don't care if it's Patrick. I don't even care if it's Josh Allen. Like, it is not matched. He had a 4-year period there where it's not matched. And that's including getting out of the pocket.
All I'm saying is on this.
Oh my God.
I mean, Josh Allen.
Regardless, yes. Like, Mahomes can't run like Josh Allen. And Mahomes is a great runner. That's not taking away. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, why me complimenting somebody for being a one-on-one player is taken as me throwing shade at Patrick Mahomes.
It's not.
It's not. I'm not. That's nothing to do with Patrick Mahomes. That's why I said, like, it's basically like 1A, 1B. But I'm not taking anybody over what Josh Allen does right now. Like,
it's not 1A, 1B then. That if you're saying I'm not taking anybody over Josh Allen, then it's a 1 and 2. Like, that's not 1A, 1B at that point.
But I mean, I don't think you're wrong either way, whichever way you want to go. Like, if you want to take Mahomes, I don't have an issue with that. I'm just saying, for me personally, Josh Allen, like, there's more that he can do that Mahomes cannot do at a different level. Like, yes, Mahomes can get out of the pocket. Mahomes can move. He can do the 360 windmills. Like, yeah, that's all cool. He's not a runner. He's not the runner Josh Allen is. He's not as physical as Josh Allen is. As much as it's weird to say, like, he doesn't have the arm Josh Allen has. And right now, what separates me right now from them, like between the two of them right now, is the way Josh Allen is seeing pre-snap. Like, that's what's like, if what Josh Allen's doing right now is basically, if you were to put, he's seeing I don't even know how to describe it, honestly. Like, it's almost like a Tom Brady, Peyton Manning type of like pre-snap reads. Like, he sees everything. Like, you can't fool him. Like, and like, that's the only thing that was holding him back from being like probably the most dangerous quarterback in NFL history. Like, it is dangerous about what that guy's doing right now, because he's going to beat you pre-snap. He's going to beat you post-snap. Oh, look, you played the correct coverage. It doesn't matter. He'll outthrow it. Oh, you're bringing a blitz. Oh, he can spin out of he's going to go on a 25-yard run. Oh, there's a linebacker in front of you, standing in between you and the first down. He's going to run your linebacker over. Like, there's nothing you can do right now, unless the only chance you have is if that guy wakes up and has a shitty day. That's your only shot. Is that guy has to wake up and just have a shitty day. That's it.
Yeah, man, he's great. Like, I agree with every one of those like statements. Like, I mean, this is the game of the week.
I love Patrick Mahomes. Love watching Patrick Mahomes.
There's one thing Josh Allen hasn't done yet, and it could happen this week. He's not beat Patrick Mahomes, and that is the one thing that, like, are we quarterback wins? Are we doing the quarterback wins thing here? I'm just saying, like,
come on.
Last year, those two guys like put on a freaking, like, the best offensive performance I've seen in a lot since that Rams
The Rams Chiefs Monday night game.
Yeah. I mean, that was like it was on that level, and it was both the quarterbacks. These two guys that are like, I mean, they're the best two quarterbacks in football.
Yeah,
like there's no arguments on that.
Yeah,
like you can put one over the other one.
No debating.
Not in the least bit. I mean, it's not even close. Lamar Jackson's probably 3, and then you can just at that point it's an argument on 4 through whatever.
Geno Smith.
No, I got Jalen Hurts, but it's I mean, this is the kind of game right here where like you just sit back and you enjoy it, and whatever happens, you get to watch the two best. This is Manning Brady, and this is our version of it now. This is what the new Peyton Manning Tom Brady games on a more offensive level, even like it's these. The thing that I will give Josh Allen credit for is his head coach is a defensive-minded coach, and this team is the most pass-happy team I've ever watched in my entire life.
They've got great offensive minds on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes.
They might not be Andy Reid, but
yeah, like this is the kind of
Kim Dorsey, dude, Kim Dorsey is. I mean, that guy's a head coach 100% next year. It's like if there's a smart front office, you're hiring that guy to run your team. Like, which I mean, I liked him going back to Miami. I remember him playing on the old Miami teams. But I mean, yeah, guy one, he's a quarterback coach for Josh Allen. You know, after the first couple years, everybody, Josh Allen's a bust. Well, we've all heard the story. Ken Dorsey comes in, though. That's when things kind of start clicking around. And credit to him, credit to Brian Daboll. Most credit I want to give is to Josh Allen himself. That's the guy that deserves 99% of the credit. I think we had this discussion, like a few weeks ago. The guy's, the ability to take coaching properly and the work ethic he has is one of the things that makes him a special player, because not a lot of guys at that level take the criticism that he took. And
he was highly criticized.
I mean, not only that, but I mean, as far as just like your throwing motion, what you need to work on, like that guy put in fucking an insane amount of work into his footwork.
Like his footwork. The other thing is too, you credit that organization because they had a guy, quote unquote, that wasn't looking good for 2 years. What did they do? They went out and got Stephon Diggs. I mean, that was huge. Like him having Stephon Diggs was night and day. That entire team was completely different.
It was the perfect mixture of it's the perfect way to build around a quarterback. And it's, surround him with weapons.
Just did with AJ Brown.
Yep. Surround him with weapons. You get him good coaching. You trust that his mental state is where you need it to be. That's the difference between guys like Jalen Hurts and guys like Carson Wentz. Is Jalen Hurts, from the moment that guy stepped on a football field, whenever he's in high school, he's never stopped improving. There's not a single moment where that guy's not trying to get better. And you have guys like Carson Wentz, who's just like immensely talented. I mean, just immensely talented. He does not take well to hard coaching. We've heard it a million times. He makes the same mistakes he made his rookie year. It's the same shit. His footwork hasn't improved. His arm angles haven't improved. His base hasn't improved. His decision-making hasn't improved. That's and it's more than just Carson. I mean, that's more common than the opposite. It's more common for that to happen than the opposite. That's what makes guys like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson. That's what makes these guys so special. Are they immensely talented physically? For sure. Are they mentally different than everybody else? That's what changes. That's why I love it. I love it. I'm so excited for this game. Aaron Rodgers, another good example of that. Guy coming out of Cal, completely different quarterback after 4 years. Didn't even look like the same person. It's awesome. Good stuff there. Anybody else? You want to say anything about the game?
No, I think, and rightfully so. In the past, it was Mahomes was getting a lot of credit when you had players outside of him in the league were getting not near as much recognition. I think the roles have kind of reversed. Like Josh Allen is rightfully getting the attention he deserves. Patrick Mahomes is quietly having an MVP season too.
Yeah,
Like
he's probably second. Yeah, he's probably second right now for me.
Yeah, and he's doing it without Tyreek Hill, and he's like,
well, I still think because it is like a week-to-week league. Like there are games where, like, even like the last couple weeks, like you can tell like they missed Tyreek Hill, but he's getting it done in different ways. Like and weirdly, man, like their receivers, like I don't know if their receivers have caught a touchdown in like weeks.
They don't have a whole lot of talent at wide receiver, in my opinion. I don't think Juju Smith-Schuster is that good. Sky Moore's not on the field because he's not ready. McCole Hardman, we've seen that over the years.
Notorious rookie. Like, he's not a rookie.
That's what I'm saying. Why Mahomes, this is the first year where I can honestly say I'm more impressed with Patrick Mahomes than I've ever been with Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, what he's doing with that roster.
He's thrown 3+ touchdowns in 3 out of 5 weeks.
Yeah,
with these guys that we're talking about that ain't shit.
Yeah,
he's still, regardless of how the numbers come, he still put up 3+ touchdowns in 3 out of 5 weeks so far.
Yeah. I mean, Travis Kelce. That's a bad dude right there.
Yeah,
bro.
Kelce accounted for all 4 of them this past week. And
I would hate. I'll say this, dude.
25 yards.
I would hate to be a running back for the Chiefs. It would piss me off so much. Like, there were so many times when like that offense needed a spark. Jerick McKinnon would come in, like, run his fucking ass off, man. Like, Jerick McKinnon played awesome.
Jerick McKinnon looked like the best running back on that team last week.
He did. And they would move right down the field, running the ball, and they'd get inside the 5-yard line.
Travis Kelce time.
Travis Kelce, yeah. And they would just throw it.
That's what.
I'm like, man, like, that shit would piss me off. Like, you let me carry you all the way down here, and then you give the touchdown.
McKinnon's never historically been a red zone running back.
The podcast that the Kelce brothers have together. I saw a clip today on YouTube where Jason Kelce called out Travis. He was like, "This is the most selfish stat line I've ever seen."
Dude, it is, bro.
You had 25 yards and 4 touchdowns. They carried your ass all the way down the field, and you got all the glory.
Yeah.
And you got to dance. And Travis was like, "Well, I didn't do any dancing because I was so damn tired going up and down the field."
I'm blocking. Yeah.
But that's, man, we won't plug a lot of other shows very often on here, but if you've never watched the podcast that the Kelce brothers do every week, that it is such a good listen every single week. And they're full of football knowledge, and then on top of that, they are just very entertaining and very awesome people, and it's just a fucking joy to listen to. So that's definitely, if you listen to football podcasts on a weekly basis, that's definitely one that you need to put in your rotation, because those guys are a lot of fun. But yeah, that was a really funny little nugget from the
I didn't even hear that.
His brother called him selfish. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, because I had the same thought. I was like, man, they carried this guy all the way down. I was like, I told Jared the other day, I was like, man, it reminds me of like the 2007 Patriots, where they would get down, into the red zone, and it would be like, oh, Randy Moss, Westwell. Like, they'd be on the 1-yard line. And
he's throwing it.
Yeah, and they would just be throwing touchdowns. And I'm like, man, like, that shit, that's some bullshit right there. So,
yeah.
Good player. Numbers a little bit inflated there, though.
I don't even remember who the running back was.
Give your running back some goddamn touchdowns every now and then. Guys carried you down there. You need a spark. That guy provides a spark. You're going to get down to the 3-yard line and throw a fucking little screen to Travis. Come on, man. Get your running back into the end zone. So, yeah, let's pick this game, man. I'm excited to pick this game. This is tough. I'm going to take the Bills. This week.
Oh, yeah. I'm taking the Bills, too.
Bills should win, but I'm going to take the Chiefs. They're at home.
That stadium's going to be rocking.
It's going to be a tough environment.
Well,
Bills fans travel well, though. and they have the better team. And I think if it was in Buffalo, I'll take Buffalo. So
Yeah, that very well could be what it comes down to. Like it's these teams are going to be so close that it could just come down literally to who has home
I
field
think
advantage.
I think too, man. After the way that game ended last year, like, man, I think Buffalo's they're gonna try to prove a point this week. They're on a mission.
they could.
They've had this one circled for a long time. All right, let's get into our next game here. Another great Sunday night football matchup here. This turns out to be a fantastic divisional game, and that is the Cowboys going into the Dregs, Philadelphia, facing the Eagles here on Sunday Night Football. Eagles are minus 5.5 point favorites. That means they're favored to win by more than 5.5. Eagles minus 227 favorites to win. Cowboys plus 175 underdogs. 42.5 point over under. Cowboys defensive line, Eagles offensive line. Key to the game.
Strength on strength.
How exciting is this?
I'm pumped for this game just as much as I am the last one, actually, to be honest with you. I never thought I would say it out loud. I used to always joke about the Fox game of the week. It was the NFC East. And I'm like, oh, God, here we go. But, I mean, both these teams look awesome, man. Like, that Cowboys pass rush looks amazing. The Eagles offensive line looks so good, and their defense is playing great. Jalen Hurts is playing awesome. Then you have a backup quarterback that's undefeated. Like, this is a fun Sunday night game. And I will probably watch this one with my stepdad, who is a huge Cowboys fan, for multiple reasons. And we'll get into picks at the end of it. But it's going to be fun. Like, it's definitely going to be fun. In a way, like, if Cooper Rush wins this game,
oh God!
I mean, dude, like, if he wins this game, can they go back to Dak right now? Like,
yes.
And I know
yes. Very easily, yes,
they can and they will.
Oh, I don't know if that's the right call. I don't. I know you're paying the guy. He's been hurt in the past. Let him rest up a little bit longer until they get a loss, because those fans are going to go crazy if they win this game.
Yeah, can you imagine how bad it's going to be if they win this game and then Dak comes back and they lose the next one?
Yeah, and they'll lose to, like, Carolina or something like that too.
Ooh.
Yeah, just imagine with Jerry Jones as their owner.
Literally every efficiency metric that you can think of. Like, yes, the Cowboys are better with Dak Prescott than they are with Cooper.
No, I get it. But at the same time,
Cooper Rush literally threw for 102 yards last week, and they won. They won.
It goes back to you got 49ers fans that didn't want to get off Garoppolo because what do? He won games. So, like, you're gonna have and those Cowboy fans are quick to turn on the quarterback.
Cooper Rush the new Jimmy G.
I'm fine with that. I'd rather root for Cooper Rush than Jimmy G. But
all I'm saying is, if they win this game and Dak comes back next week and they lay an egg against whoever the hell they play, it's probably not a good team.
They play Detroit the week after this game.
That's perfect. Here we go.
They're not losing to Detroit with Dak. Dak could throw with his.
I'm changing my pick.
Dak could throw with his
Dallas Cowboys win this game and lose to Detroit the next week with Dak as a starter.
Not only do they play Detroit, they follow it up with Chicago the week.
Oh, 2 in a row. Cooper Rush is coming back.
Tell you what, if that happens,
Dak could literally throw with his left hand and beat Detroit and Chicago.
Yeah, that might actually get me to tune in to Skip Bayless.
That would be worth the watch.
Just to
watch him melt down.
Man, you know that fan base, and you know exactly how this plays out.
Yeah, but you can't let the fan base dictate your decisions, though.
I get that.
Especially the Cowboys fan base.
No, I understand, and all that makes sense to me. But deep down, the troll that I am, I hope this is what happens. I really do, just to see, like, what happens. Like,
yeah. I mean, imagine
so much fun.
Imagine if Cooper Rush beats the Eagles, Dak Prescott gets healthy, he starts, and then
loses to the Lions,
and then they drop back-to-back games against the Lions and the Bears, and then they go into their bye.
Woo!
Oh, buddy.
Let's go.
That would make for great fucking TV. I know that.
Would, yeah. I'm not opposed to it. I'm taking the Eagles.
Yeah, Cooper Rush is taking an L this week.
Yeah.
The Eagles defense is just too good.
Secondary is so good.
The secondary is great. The pass rush is great. The Eagles offensive line is there to help handle the huge, the huge positive that the defense has for Dallas in terms of their pass rush. Like the offensive line is, they were a little banged up. The Eagles offensive line was a little banged up.
And you know how you neutralize a great pass rush?
A great offensive line.
No.
A great offensive line and a quarterback that can move, and a quarterback that's not afraid to move, like Jalen Hurts.
You run the fucking football. You run the football right at him.
That's another interesting thing too, because early on in games this year, Philly has been kind of pass happy, and then they'll be like, all right, maybe we do need to run the ball a little bit, So it'll be interesting to see if they do come out running or if they come out slinging with Jalen Hurts again. Like, I mean, I like the aggressiveness. I think.
I'll tell you what, man, that's what I'm doing, bro. Like I'm running the ball right at Micah Parsons.
It'll be interesting to see because Sirianni and this offense that really hasn't been, at least early at the beginning of games, it really hasn't been how the game has flown. So I mean, I don't disagree with you, but it'll just be interesting to see if they adapt and they do that, because I do think that's smart, especially with how effective Miles Sanders has been.
Well, not only that, but so not only
the Cowboys run defense is bad.
Yeah,
like they have been.
Yeah.
They've been like
neutralizes the pass rusher, but like if you let this offensive line go beat these guys up, like go beat them up, and then you know what's going to happen later on in the game? They're tired, they're beat up. You think they're gonna want to rush the passer? I mean, like they might want to, but they're tired and beat up.
Micah still will. That dude's got a motor that doesn't go off, but
he's not gonna quit coming.
But I mean that's been the weakness of this. That's been the weakness of this Cowboys defense all year. They've been a bottom 5, bottom 6 run defense all year, and you've got a very effective running offense. So it makes all the sense in the world. I just don't know if that's what'll actually happen, but
yeah,
it makes complete sense though.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I got the Eagles. I can't do it.
Oh, look at
I want to so bad though. I really do.
It does make the game much more intriguing, but yeah, I got the Eagles too.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Eagles. All right, and now gets us to Monday Night Football, prime time, Denver Broncos. It's 3 weeks in a row now.
Take me out to the shed.
Gosh. First, the good news is the LA Chargers are playing. Keenan Allen's back. That's always positive news.
Yeah, they're getting healthy.
Yeah.
The other good news is Drew Lock isn't being used in Seattle. They can trade him back to Denver.
Yeah.
I don't know. You listen to Pete Carroll today. He said he was
apparently he's coming for Geno's job.
Yeah, he's nipping at the heels of Geno Smith.
Jeez Louise. Another feather in the cap to Geno too. All the offseason, who's the starting quarterback in Seattle and everything else too.
As well as Geno's played
you want to talk about Drew? I'm sorry. I'm sorry to do it to you here. The tale of 2 bad coaching staffs right now.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I don't know what is going on with your boy Staley, but
he
is not looking good.
Last year too.
Well, I like some of the decisions he made last year, but like just this past week, they were in control of the game. They go for it on like Brandon Staley had gotten bullied out of not going for it on 4th down, and then the one time he decides to go for it on 4th down against the Browns, it was like, to me, it was a horrible decision and gave them a chance to win the game. He's lucky that Cade York choked on the field goal attempt, or they would have won the game. And like that was the poster child example of when to not do that, and that was the time he chose to go for it on 4th down. And the defense hasn't lived up to expectations, and he's a defensive head coach, so he has to own part of that. But yeah, no, Brandon Staley, I've been a little bit worried about him here in his second year. So I mean, I don't think he's Nathaniel Hackett bad by any means, but it's definitely
the thing that worries me is it's the defense, man. It's not even the decision making. I mean, that's worrisome, but you're brought in to be some defensive wizard, all that kind of stuff, And it's not like he doesn't have pieces there. I mean, yeah, like Joey Bosa's out, stuff like that. But Khalil Mack's still
Just
playing.
went out though.
Yeah, J.C. Jackson's been really bad. You still have Derwin James out there, and like this is what they're giving up right now, man. Like so since the first Raiders game, since week 1, 27 to the Chargers, 38 to the Jaguars, 24 to the Texans, Davis Mills, and now 28 to the Jacoby Brissett Browns.
Mhm. Yeah,
Brissett's played better this year.
Yeah, like it's bad defense, man. And then of course, you've got Lombardi there with the Chargers, offensive coordinator, and like they're finally deciding to get Austin Eckler involved. That's a good thing. Who would have thought? But yeah, it's rough. This team, like the Chargers,
They're underachieving for sure.
I don't think it's. I mean, they're so snake bitten with injuries, man. Like it is crazy every year. It's crazy, but they're not making it easier on themselves for sure.
They're right back in it though. If Buffalo does beat Kansas City and they win this week, they're right back in it.
Yeah, and that's due to an underachieving division.
Yeah,
NFC West is NFC East. The NFC East is what we thought the AFC West would be. How crazy is that?
Yeah, I mean the Broncos are underachieving and the Chargers are to this point, but like the Chiefs are who we thought they were. Like they're like it's still not going to be a cakewalk to get to the
even
top.
The Raiders are underachieving. I mean, like we picked them.
I didn't think they'd be 1-4.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I didn't think they'd be that bad.
I mean, I said in the preseason show that they were going to get off to a slow start because of their schedule, but and then if you yeah, I mean I don't know if I predicted their exact record, but I remember Landon.
Well, I know we had
Landon posed the question like they have a tough beginning schedule. Does it sink their season? And I said, yes and no, because if you look at the Raiders schedule post bye, it gets much easier. So like you could kind of see this coming because the beginning of their schedule was really tough. They have an early bye week, and then their schedule after the bye is the underachieving part for me is absolutely the team the Chargers is playing in the Broncos. Like
by far.
The Raiders I expected to get off to a slow start because of their schedule. The Broncos
Chargers we should have expected
to be this bad. Yeah, at this point you kind of like you never we say we don't predict injuries at this point with the Chargers. We almost have to.
You should, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, like that's the underachieving part for me. The Raiders part isn't all that surprising, but the Chargers getting off to a little bit of a slow start and then the Broncos just being this fucking bad. Like they're not even like, okay. Like they're a flat out bad football team. That's surprising to me. Very surprising.
There's not been a good game. There's not been one game this season where they haven't been booed. Like that's crazy. Like they were booed week 1 because Russ went back to Seattle. Okay, that's whatever. Week 2 they're at home, booed. Week 3 they're at home, booed. Like they're booed every week. Like their offense is that bad.
Thursday night football too, week 4. Jesus.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like is Russ cooked? I mean, for real. Like at this point, that's a legit question. Like,
no, I know. Like one of the saddest things I've ever watched was that press conference after Thursday night when he did the "Let's Ride" when he was walking away. Like, did you hear that one? He was like, and he was walking away from the podium, and he just goes, "Let's ride." And I was like, "Oh man, that guy's broken. He's broken."
I'm starting to worry. I am.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not
time.
Yeah, like watching.
There were signs of it last year, but there was injuries on top of it. Now this year, there's all of a sudden an injury. I don't even know. I'm not saying he's faking an injury or anything like that, but it's ironic that they're just now starting to
explain what's going on because this dude is just like
he looks terrible. He looks really bad.
He's just missing.
There's no chemistry in the offseason. You heard about like all these things he was doing with these receivers in the offseason. None of it's showing up on the field. None of it.
No,
it's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like he's throwing post routes, he's throwing back shoulder fades, and these guys are like not even in the area. And I'm just like, well, like what are they even looking at right now?
They're swapping out tight ends after it's just that whole offense.
Albert O can't even get on the field. Like
it's crazy.
Yeah, they're a bad football team right now. It's
right now. Okay. Obviously, the Raiders are the worst team in that division, but they've lost games by 1 point, 3 points, 4 points. But they're putting up points, is what I'm getting at. The Broncos can't score.
Well, it's two different tells. The Raiders have a decent offense and a bad defense, and the Broncos have a good defense and an awful offense. So I mean, it's two it's two different formulas to being a bad team.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, they're both bad teams. They just get there differently.
If you combine them,
they get to the same place. It's just one takes A and one takes B.
Yeah,
they're gonna end up at the same place with them. Yeah, it's tough to watch. That man, watching the film on that Colts Broncos game was just, holy shit. Oh my God. Bless.
You like kicking.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's bad quarterback play, bad offensive lines. Like, it was more so like the Colts. It was just, I mean, like Matt Ryan was bad, but like the Colts offensive line was horrendous. The Broncos D line or the O line, like it wasn't great, but it was better than what the Colts had. Russell Wilson was just like, I don't know what was going on. The offensive scheming was bad. Like you literally had guys like running. I mean, it's kind of like the Raiders. Like you had guys running into each other. Like there's too many guys in the same area. Like I don't know what they're doing.
I think it speaks volumes to how bad the Raiders defense really is because like just prior to that Thursday night game, my storyline heading into that was like, hey, Russ looked pretty good this past week against the Raiders. Is this is this like them taking a step forward, or are the Raiders defense really just that bad? And it turns out the Raiders defense is just really that fucking bad because the Broncos got right back to looking like the Broncos offense that we've seen, every other week other than that week against the Raiders. So
yeah. And the Colts are a good defense too, but I mean not like that.
Right. No, but exactly.
That's
though,
just
like
ineptitude. That's just ineptitude.
Yeah, but then like at the like
We're
like that also is just like, man,
what
the
are
Raiders defense. The Raiders defense is the only defense that's made the Broncos look like an NFL offense. Yeah. So it's like, man, the Raiders defense really is they fucking stink.
Oh, good for Josh McDaniels.
Couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Yeah, great for him. Yeah, are we like really close to like Nathaniel Hackett just doing the whole like Ron Rivera thing? I was just like, well, what's going on? He's like, oh, my quarterback.
I still think like every week that goes by, the whole theory, like the whole conspiracy theory of the only reason Nathaniel Hackett got hired is because the Broncos thought it was going to give them an edge up on Aaron Rodgers. It just seems like that's just holding more and more weight every week that the Broncos suck. It's like,
I can't even remember a first-year head coach being this hot like through 5 weeks.
No, like he's one of the favorites for the next coach to get canned, and it's his rookie head coaching season. Like,
and like to be fair, man, like they do some good things there, like on offense, but like Russ is just playing so bad. Like I would probably say it honestly 60% on the quarterback, 40% on the coach.
I don't
know, but man, like how crazy is that? They signed him to that big extension.
They gave him a lot of money before he
even played a game, bro. Like traded all of that capital to get him and then signed him to that money.
Seattle looks really smart right about now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've heard it for several years now that the Broncos were a quarterback away. Well, you're going to hear it for another season. They're a quarterback away.
Yeah, they're still
like it's at that point, and like we like Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson's great for the NFL. I think he's a nice guy.
Yeah, Russ is almost gotten to the point with Russ where like so many people are shitting on him that I'm starting to like root for him. Yeah, I feel like it's like a pity thing. Like I mean, like I feel bad.
I hope he's not cooked.
My whole thing is like
signs are pointing at he is.
Like I hated the Kyle Brandt thing. I thought that was so out of bounds.
Yeah, that shit was whack. That whole thing screamed.
My thing is like if you want to criticize the guy on the field, like yeah, go ahead.
Well,
like, he absolutely deserves it. Even if you want to criticize him for being goofy and stuff, I mean, like, yeah, dude, he's corny,
No,
he's goofy.
but fuck that.
But,
It all came
dude,
full circle whenever he said that Sierra and him think that they're Jay-Z and Beyonce, and
yeah, well,
they
exactly.
didn't come say hi to me on the red carpet. It's a me. I'm fucking Kyle Brandt. How dare you not come say hi to me on the red carpet? Do you
Yeah,
not know who I am? It was the most self-serving fucking rant I have ever heard, and it was the perfect, like, he should have been on First Take with that fucking rant, because that was just the most.
and I like Kyle Brandt too, man. Like I don't think he's some of the criticisms he's not off base of, but whenever you bring in the guy's family and like his personal decisions into your criticism, it invalidates it.
Yeah.
If you want to invalidate him, or if you want to talk
I
about
lost.
he's putting on the field, but I mean, yeah, it's bad stuff. You can't.
I lost a lot, and I had, up to this point, I had enjoyed a lot of the stuff Kyle Brandt said too. But like once he did that, and he rounded his whole argument out with, I know all of this because he didn't come speak to me on the red carpet. How dare he do me this way? It was like you could tell he just had that shit bottled up. Like he couldn't believe somebody dare not come talk to Kyle Brandt on the red carpet. It's like, yeah, dude, you really, like, you might look cool on the internet, you might look cool on TV, you might say some cool shit, wear some cool t-shirts and shit, and you might be pretty popular, but it turns out you're just like everybody else on TV. That's what that rant did for me.
I miss Kay Adams.
She's the shit.
Bro, I miss Kay.
Yeah.
That was like once she left, man.
And shout out Schrager too. Peter Schrager's really. He seems like good people's. Like,
well, I mean,
Schrager, I don't think Schrager would ever have that type of rant. He would never do that type of stupid shit for clicks and shit.
No.
Yeah, that really rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah. All right, well, let's pick this game. I'm excited to watch this. Not. I am actually curious. I want to see.
The Chargers need to bounce back here. They're starting to get a little bit healthier.
Well, they aren't home, too. The Chargers aren't home. They're 4.5-point favorites right now. 4.5 points on the point spread.
It's not that far of a travel for Broncos fans, though, and Broncos fans are another fan base that, despite how bad the team might be, Broncos fans travel well. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Chargers fans don't really exist.
Yeah.
So I would not expect.
This will be a Broncos home.
I would not be surprised to see a decent Broncos turnout.
Yeah. Well, Chargers are minus 227 on the money line. Broncos plus 175 underdogs. 45.5 point over under. I might take the under in this one, but
yeah, because the Broncos are involved.
Yeah, geez. I'm actually I'm gonna take the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers too.
Go Chargers.
Go Chargers.
Wow.
Get to the chopper. All right, well, that brings up our Week 6 preview. If you guys listened, thank you so much for tuning in. Another great episode, another fun time, and we will be back next week, ready to do it again. But before that, if you are listening to this on Friday, make sure to tune in to our live DFS show with our big DFS guy, Big Jared Holly down there, bringing you all the ways to win money. We're going to be really excited stuff this week. It's pretty decent little week here, a lot better than last week for sure. So tune in. We're going to be going live on Twitter at 3Man Rush Podcast and live here on YouTube. You can join us at 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. Make sure you are subscribed as well. That way you can be notified. Hit the bell notification whenever we do go live. You're like, hey, I forgot we're going live, but oh shit, this bell notified me. Go ahead and click in. Come join us. Talk some shit. Have some fun. Have some drinks. Get ready for Week 6 action. So, thank you guys so much. And we will see you on Friday night. Coming up.